the manager on SmackDown that's the meme that like you just got yourself a match with the Undertaker?
Teddy Long.
Holla, player.
This dude would walk out and he would just say, "For that comment, player,
You will go one-on-one
with the Undertaker."
The Undertaker.
The crowd would go nuts.
The Undertaker. The Undertaker. The Undertaker. Wow. Driver, I'm ready to go. Get me out of here.
Buckle up, Teddy.
God, Teddy Long entering the pod today. This is off to a roaring start.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor, Sikkema, and Connor Rogers here with you guys for another Fix Your Franchise episode of the program. Today, we are fixing the Atlanta Falcons. We're taking a deep dive into everything, the full organization. We're looking at the front office, the coaching staff, the assistant coaches, the whole roster, the quarterback situation. We'll give you a free agency strategy, do a couple of mock drafts at the end of the show. It's going to be a good time. Connor, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great, brother. It's hockey jersey day here at NFL Stock Exchange. We absolutely love that. Throwbacks. Hell yeah, dude. At intro, I mean, Mr. Cook, this guy, like, he put him up for every award possible. Teddy Long, I never saw the limo clip.
No, I've never seen that either.
You and I have talked many times on this show. It's perfect. You and I kind of watched wrestling during the exact era. So there is a cutoff point for us. But, man, the fact that he had one trick in his bag and it was just pit his enemies against The Undertaker. But it's a great trick. It's like when everybody's like, all this guy is fast. It's like, yeah, well, he's running by everyone. Teddy Long had that one trick. But here we go, man. The Falcons pimp your franchise. Got to be a good one for sure.
People in the chat sort of asking about the hockey jerseys. To be transparent with everybody, Connor sat down and got into the StreamYard room that we're using, and he had the hockey jersey, and I immediately was like, oh, it's hockey jersey day?
I've never seen you move faster. You jetted out of the seat, and just like that, you were ready to go.
People asking, is this a Vincent LeCavier jersey? You're damn right, it's a Vincent LeCavier jersey. I don't know if my chair will be able to show.
Hell yeah! Look, that is a CCM beauty.
Yeah. What's yours?
Brian Leach. Well, I got a hood on, but it's got the little Stanley Cup patch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, hockey jersey. I don't know how you feel about this. I think hockey jerseys are far and away the best aesthetic for a fan to wear.
First of all, I know you would say that because you live in a cold weather climate. And
right. I'd counter that. Yeah.
Jersey over a hoodie, like, you know,
could do it every day. Honestly.
The fashion forward young man that you are, it's an elite aesthetic for any sports fan.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
It's a Northeast, yes. I think the counter is where you're probably going as a Florida man, and I agree with this. Throwing on an NBA jersey on the beach is just...
Sure.
Seamless.
Sure.
But yes.
It comes complete with a High Noon or White Claw or Vizzy or whatever your seltzer of
Spike
choice
ball
is.
On the side. Yep.
Yes.
We've all done it. We're not above it.
Somebody in the chat saying the New York Islanders have won 4 in a row. We're not going to talk about that because one of those 4 was against the Tampa Bay Lightning, so we're not going to talk about it.
They beat the Rangers this year.
Hold on. Really quick. Last night was when the Lightning played the Islanders, and they lost 2-1. And I'm sitting on the couch with my wife, and I pull up the score to the game, and I was just like, we're not talking, we're just sitting next to each other. I pull up the score to the game, and it says Islanders 2, Lightning 1. I don't even say anything to her. She goes, damn, that's pretty tough for you. I look over at her, I'm like,
excuse me?
What's your deal? What
the hell did I do?
She just starts laughing. She's like, I'm just saying, this is a pretty tough look for you.
That is elite trash talk. You're just sitting there. My line is like, I'm just existing out here and just getting hated on for absolutely no reason.
I'm out here doing some light Googling of some sports scores. Next thing I know, I'm getting roasted.
Sports scores. Just trying to keep up with all the games.
This Falcons Fix Your Franchise is going to be a good time because there are some Fix Your Franchise that we do where we go, okay, well, we're not really touching the front office. We're not going to talk about the coaching staff or maybe like they got quarterback figured out or whatever. For the Falcons, I feel like a lot of this is wide open. And we get to have a lot of these conversations about potential changes. Not that I feel think that they're going to completely clean house on all these things. What I'm curious is to hear what you think about a lot of those big situations, but we at least get to talk about a lot of them here. You want to run through some super chats before we dive into this?
Yep.
Okay.
They're already piling up. Let's get to it.
Okay.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
It is honest work. Freddie, $5 super chat, getting us started off right here. My Falcons need to pump up their Penix. They can't seem to rise up with this coaching staff. Where's Peter with the Blue Chew sponsorship when you need it? They just can't seem to finish. That is pause, Freddie. So there's a triple threat there for you, but we appreciate the $5, brother.
Are you suffering from rise up dysfunction?
Did Peter feed that line to you?
No. I'm having a pre-production call every week now with Peter.
With Peter, yeah.
That
True
would
backbone
be
of the show.
Oh my God. All right, T-Law, thank you for the $10 super chat. Time has come. Raheem's got to go. He never deserved the head coaching job. He's a pathetic head coach.
Whoa.
Also, that JPJ trade looks great with him leading rookies in sacks. Where do you rank JPJ among this year's edge class? Harsh work for Raheem Morris.
Where would I rank James Pierce Jr., who is having a great year? And obviously we'll get into that because I think that's part of Terry Fontenot's evaluation of what he did in the draft last year. But James Pierce Jr. in this year's edge class, I mean, depending on what you think of Arvell Reese, if you think he's an edge rusher, I think Reese would have been better. I probably would have taken Reuben Bain over him as well. But then
it gets short quick.
James Pierce Jr. is probably next, right?
Yeah, it feels that way. He's the first guy I've seen this year that made Armand Membu look human at times.
Right.
I was like, damn. I was like, we haven't seen Membu. And Membu's gone up against TJ Watt and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
He's been so good. But Pierce is a very good rusher on an island. Very gifted rusher on an island. So he's definitely been, and they need that trade to be a smash because of obviously what they gave up to get him.
Yeah. And like Keldrick Falk's in this class, but I think you and I feels like are a little bit lower on Keldrick Falk just overall. Not that he's not a good football player. It's just, is the pass rush there for him? So that goes into that equation. Like when you think about him, TJ Parker hasn't quite had the year that we've wanted him to. Cassius Howell, he's probably right there with Cassius Howell for like edge 3 or edge 4, in my opinion, if he was in this class.
Yeah, I would have David Bailey, I think, over him.
Oh, yeah, David Bailey, too.
Bailey's a menace. Although it's kind of funny, like they're
similar.
Similar bucket of player, right?
They are. I think that that's really the conversation now that we've talked it out a little bit. It's probably still Reuben May Jr. and Arvell Reese that are in that first bucket. But then James Pierce Jr. would be right there probably as a potential top 15 pick in that next bucket of David Bailey, Cassius Howell, and JPJ, in our opinion. But appreciate the $10 super chat. Johnny, $10. Hey there, small fry. Watch it. Need to put the Steelers on as a potential fixture franchise for the radar. We just don't get put there because we pretend that we are competitive each year. The Steelers were talked about as the topic for this episode, and I think we will be getting to the Steelers pretty soon.
Yeah, conversations have been had, so just sit tight. I think your wishes will be granted there. McFarland, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm about to drop a stack on these super chats. Rise up. I like where you're thinking.
Starting with $5. Love it. Dirty Bird Nate, $2 super chat. Pimp My Chies is back. Let's go. Please save my team. Going to do the best job we possibly can here. I'll read this one for Preston. Preston, $10 super chat, said, when Alyssa, who is my wife, came on screen during the Clemson, South Carolina game at the bar, I leaned over to my girlfriend and I said, quote, she's married to one of the guys from the podcast I always have on. And she went, quote, oh yeah, NFLSC. Nice. Wife, baby. W wife. Can we get some nonstop Preston's wife in the chat, please? That's what we need here for a comment like that.
Girlfriend.
Oh, significant other.
Yeah.
Romantic interest.
I mean, that might be a sign that she's the one.
It might be. No pressure here, Preston. But if she recognizes the podcast, I mean, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good barometer right there.
Kristen, who is my wife, the other day we were on the couch.
A lot of wife talk in this chat.
So much wife bragging. Alyssa was doing an NBA game the other night, and Kristen did the Leo meme, like without trying to do it. And I was like, yes, yes, that is our friend. Yes. All right. Tony Lee, thank you for the $20 super chat. Always good to see Tony in the chat. How's it going, guys? Been doing a lot of mock drafts lately. PFF Simulator, of course. Is it crazy for the Jets to take Sonny Styles with the Colts pick? I think the Jets linebackers have looked terrible this year. Tony, I am with you. They paid Jamie and Sherwood. The contract has not paid off very well this year. Quincy is a free agent after the year and has been up and down. Linebacker is going to be, I think, a pretty big need for the Jets. And Sonny Styles, picking him in late first round, that's not crazy to me in this draft. I think him, CJ Allen, like those are the guys you're going to see them connected to the Jets a little bit for sure.
All right, rapid fire on a couple of these before we really dive into this. Jagger, $5 super chat. USC fan here and wanted to let the people know that it is highly likely that Jaden Maiava is returning to USC, according to people close to the program. Industry sources
right there. Jagger.
I like it.
Moves like Jagger over here. Wow.
Need to sources like Jagger for the podcast.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah. Up your source game, Connor. You ain't got anything on the Jaden Maiava.
I don't know anything about
conversation.
USC.
So that's good to know, though, man. This class, quarterback, could be thinning out. We'll see when we get to mid-January what the class is when it's all said and done. So,
Spade, thank you for the $5 super chat. How much to get Trev to show up to work wearing a 2015 Blackhawks Stanley Cup champ shirt? No, there's no price. You have pride.
Not a Peter in the world could sponsor that happening.
Dan Moore and Peter could come together for a board of directors, and they would not be able to afford you.
Board of directors. That's true. It's very true.
We'll have that one day.
Kev, $5 super chat. I wore my goals jersey to my office job today. Did my manager tell me to go home and change? Yes. Did I? No. Kev,
that is awesome.
So Kev is basically saying that the price for him to wear such a jersey at work is whatever his salary is, because that's what he would have paid to do it.
It's freaking awesome that you have a goals jersey. Some of the, whether it's AHL, the ECHL, the OHL, like, dude, some of the jerseys of the non-NHL teams are insane.
Yeah.
Insane. That's awesome. Garrett, thank you for the $10 super chat. First time, long time. And I honestly got to ask, where are the Browns? Because honestly, if Miles wasn't going off, I don't know if I could make. And then he stopped typing, so maybe he didn't make it.
Wow, but damn.
Yeah, he couldn't take it anymore.
Garrett, you got to stay with us here because
yeah.
Myles Garrett's about to break the sack record with like 4 games left to go.
At least watch that. And then watch Pimping the Browns.
Yeah, which will be here at some point. We promise you.
Yeah.
Last two here. Dan, $5 super chat. Yes, fixing the Falcons ED. Love it. We will. Well, actually, they did a good job of that last year with the double divided edge. Gabriel, $5 super chat. This is the last one, and then we'll really dig into it. If Michael Penix comes back next year and struggles after injury, do the Falcons draft a quarterback due to his devastating injury history and his age? I think it's a really good way to usher in everything that we're going to be talking about here with the Falcons, because we are going to answer that in depth here as we kick things off. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they're 4-8 on the season. Now, on the screen, I wanted to go all the way back to the Arthur Smith era. One, because it's contextually relevant, and two, because it's objectively hilarious that in the 3 years that he was their head coach, they just went 7-10, 3 straight years in a row. And so that's
no notes.
That's kind of the consistency that money can't buy that kind of consistency, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sabotage Bijan Robinson's career and go 7-10. Arthur Smith's whiteboard every day when he walks into his office.
That's what it was. War on fantasy football. Do you remember that?
I'll never forget it. I think
last year that he was there?
It's arguably the best cold open we've ever done.
Didn't you drop the F-bomb for that one?
Yeah, I think I actually did. Arthur Smith is the Joker of fantasy football. Yeah. He will blow up cities over fantasy football. Yeah,
he really will.
Yep, an all-timer.
So then we have Raheem Morris last year. Goes 8-9, but I think the frustrating part of going 8-9 is they were 6-3. And so then you lose 6 games, you only win 2 down the stretch. That's how math works.
Yeah. I like that.
That's obviously it's tough to stomach because you felt like you could have had a better finish down the stretch last year with the Falcons. And this year, as we kind of get into their offensive and defensive grades, they're not terrible. Like, the passing game hasn't been good because Penix hasn't been good, and we'll take a deeper dive into that in a second. But when you look at the rest of the numbers here, the offensive line's pretty decent. The run game's great. The run game, they're top 10 in rushing grade as a team with Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. They're top 10 in EPA per rush. It's just the passing game that's really struggled for them. And then if you go to the defensive side of the football as well, I know a lot of people are really harping on Jeff Ulbrich, who you obviously know during his time when he was with the Jets. Now he's the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. It's been up and down for them, but it's not like this is the worst unit in the world. And they're young. Like, I always kind of figured that the Falcons defense, if they were middle of the pack this year, you feel pretty good about that, because there's going to be some weeks where they're borderline top 10 and they're playing really well, and there's going to be other weeks where they're just young and inexperienced and they're just learning. And to be honest with you, Connor, I feel like that's what we've had from the Falcons. So it's a frustrating year. There's no doubt about it, especially because the Bucs have been sputtering in the middle of the season. Carolina's been super up and down. If you're a Falcons fan, you're probably sitting there saying, we should have been right there. We should have been right there with these teams. We could maybe even be at the top of the division, maybe not owning the division, but top of it. And to me, it's just the struggles at quarterback have been a lot worse than we thought they were going to be in Penix's first year as a full-time starter here.
Yeah, I think that with a defense that's as young as they are, you see the highs and lows. They've had standout performances in plays, whether it's big-time sacks or takeaways, and then they have blown assignments, giving up big plays as well. We've seen that throughout the year. So I think it's tricky with the Falcons, because when I was getting ready for this exercise, and I just saw this team because I covered the Jet game on Sunday, but I've watched enough of them this year before that. Like you said, Ulbrich was with the Jets for a while. I know them pretty well schematically. Trevor, when I was just doing the prep for this exercise on paper, I'm like, this is not a bad football team.
Right.
Not this bad right now. They are underachieving, which the head coach is always going to take on a lot of the blame for an underachieving team. The quarterback play will be scrutinized. And we'll have a large conversation about Penix, because I think that I've had some schematic complaints with this team as well. And I don't think I know. If Drake London, even with Drake London on the field, you look around at the pass catchers and you're like, who and what? Darnell Mooney's been bad this year and hurt all the time. And then after that, it's people that most NFL fans don't know or can't believe David Sills is still in the league. So I'm serious. So it's just, there's a cult.
It was a sweeping statement to start. Like, oh, you got players that like you maybe don't know, or you get to a point where David Sills is in the league, and it's like you just pinpointed.
I'm sorry, David Sills.
Specifically.
I don't mean that, but I do. Yeah, it's just I've been disappointed, because the start of this team, I'm like, damn, this is what they were building. They want to be fast and electric on defense, and they're going to hit some explosives through the pass game, but they also want to obviously lean on their run game and not ask too much of Penix. And then it really just all fell apart fast for this team.
Ken in the chat saying that the Legion of Whom could stop this Falcons passing attack. And unfortunately, I do think that that's kind of true at this point, because it's a little too individual, right? It's either Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier kind of winning on their own in the run game, or it's basically Drake London and that's it. We've seen some games where it's quite literally just been Drake London, right? I mean, like they've had nothing else. He's had 100-yard games and games where he's averaged over 30% of a threat percentage, which if people are new to the PFF terminology, that's essentially like wide receiver usage, how often you are being targeted per route that you are running. And the best in the NFL are normally somewhere around like mid to high 20s. And there are games where Drake London's in the 30s of just like, we don't have anybody else here. And I think team building and a lot of the struggles have gone into that. And we're going to talk about Terry Fontenot, because to be honest with you, we'll talk about everything here, but I think Fontenot is most to blame. Like if
I agree with you.
If you have the three options of Terry Fontenot, their general manager, Raheem Morris, their head coach, and Michael Penix, the quarterback, Penix's struggles obviously affect the team the most because it's on-field performance. But there are issues throughout the team, whether it's lack of pass catchers, lack of cornerbacks, and just a roster that feels like it's always kind of playing catch-up to the needs that they have had, and they're never really getting ahead of it. I feel like that's a Fontenot thing, and so we'll talk a lot about him, but I wanted to talk specifically about Michael Penix, And I just wanted to sort of break down what he has been this year in his first year as a full-time starter. Because remember, Kirk Cousins started the year last year, but then Penix ends up coming in when they really started struggling down the stretch. And so he took over, and we knew that he was going to be the starter for them going into this season. What was it? Was that the last game of the year in Carolina where he had like 7 big-time throws? Like, it was insane.
I think so, because he started, 3 down the stretch, and it felt like...
Whenever that Carolina game was, whether it was the last game, I think it was the last game.
I think so, too. I'm going
to
pull it up right now.
He had 7 big-time throws, and we were like, buddy, we made it. We absolutely made it.
Yeah, when he came in, I mean, you're right. That overtime loss against Carolina, where he threw for over 300 yards, and he had all the big-time throws. The Washington game where they lost in overtime, where like you just watched him and you're like, yeah, that's the guy that we were hoping for, the Washington version of Michael Penix.
Right. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's one of the points I'm going to make in a second here with Penix. You see the numbers on the screen, but for those of you who are audio-only listeners, we love you and appreciate you. So 50.8 overall passing grade this season. It's not great. Now, again, just to remind people, when it comes to PFF grades, 60.0 is neutral. 60.0 is average, because what PFF does is they grade every play from every player, and depending on how well you executed the job that you were asked to do on that play, you will either get a neutral grade, like, hey, like you did your job, like you were fine on this play, or you go above and beyond, you get like a plus 0.5, a plus 1, a plus 1.5, and it goes all the way up to a plus 2 for some of the greatest plays you've ever seen in your life. And then on the other hand, if you didn't execute well enough, if you are a reason why a play failed, or if you missed a block that was obvious, or you missed a tackle, or you had a turnover-worthy play, well, all of a sudden, then that's minus 0.5, minus 1, minus 1.5, and minus 2, depending on the severity of it. So a 60 is neutral. A lot of people think of it as grades where they go like, okay, well, a 60 is a D minus, and it's basically failing. That's not the scale that PFF works off of. So a 50.0 isn't horrible, but a lot of the quarterbacks in the NFL who are starters are somewhere around 70 and above anyways. He's got 7 big-time throws this year, which is a 2.5% big-time throw percentage. And he has 10 turnover-worthy plays, which is a 3.3 turnover-worthy play percentage. Connor, that 2.5% big-time throw percentage, that's not the Michael Penix that we watched at Washington. I mean, he had turnover-worthy plays, but he was a big-game hunter.
Yeah, three-point shooter all day.
That's perfect. He is a three-point shooter all day. And you see the adjusted completion percentage is okay, the time to throw is okay, and the pressure to sack ratio of just a 12.3%. Like, all of that stuff is okay from Penix. Then you get into some of more of the advanced stats that I wanted to dig into from him. Specifically, the ones that are at the very top of the screen here. Connor, this is what has been so shocking to me about Penix this year, is that over the middle of the field, he has an 82.9 passing grade. So between the numbers, which is great. You have to be able to attack over the middle of the field. And to be honest with you, with how much Penix attacked outside the numbers at Washington,
that was his game.
I was a little worried about how he would be over the middle of the field in the NFL.
It was a huge combo about him leading up to the draft.
100%.
And rightfully so. I you know how much I liked Penix, but I thought that was a very fair conversation from people.
And yet he's been pretty dang good at that this year. However, the outside the number stuff, this year he has a 54.2 passing grade outside the numbers. And Connor, 7 of his turnover-worthy plays have happened outside the numbers. And the reason why is because he's not super confident right now. And when you're late to the outside, that's when it gets dangerous. That's when you're inaccurate. That's when you have the turnover-worthy plays. And right now, he's just not super confident. Very common of a first-year full-time starter.
Right.
But that is where we're at with him. And we'll have the injury conversation in a second, but that's really what I've been seeing. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how well he's played between the numbers. But it's that outside the number stuff that he's very skittish of right now in a way that we haven't seen from Penix in 3 or 4 years, going back to his 2 years at Washington.
So, yeah, right. So like how you're highlighting it is the glass half full is, well, he's throwing really well in the middle of the field. And we've seen him at the college level throw outside the numbers as well as anyone
Yes.
over the last couple of years. So
that
we
last
know
year for sure. Yes.
we know it's in there. My schematical complaint, and this is something I've talked about before he got hurt, and not to take away blame from Penix, because he's a better player than what he showed this year, and he's got to be better for them to be the future of this team, is that what I don't understand is why they do such little play action when your run game is so good and you have the threat of Bijan Robinson. For instance, Trevor, this year, his play action dropback percentage was 19.5% of the time. For some context, the first guy I Googled, just out of like curiosity, not Googled, searched, was Matthew Stafford, who's 37.5% of the time. And the reason I'm complaining about this number being so low for Penix is it's one of the metrics he's really good at.
I think he has an elite passing grade on play action throws.
Yes, he's 72 passing grade, which is his highest mark compared to no play action in the screen game and no screen.
Okay. All right.
He averages almost 9 yards per attempt off play action throws.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where he's only taken 3 sacks. It's one of those things where you're sitting there and you're going, why don't they do more of this? Because when you watch the tape of it, it creates so much space in the intermediate area of the field because it's Bijan Robinson. You have to respect it.
100%.
It forces the middle of your defense, the linebackers, to step forward. And then Penix is excellent at throwing over their heads, and they do so little of it. And there are faults in Penix's game this year, but that to me is a big fault in the play calling that I just don't understand, quite honestly.
And I thought it was going to be a really good year for Zach Robinson as their play caller, and it hasn't. Like, I understand that they really only have Drake London to be able to throw the ball to, but there are
is a Fontenot, a big glaring indictment on Fontenot. That's unacceptable.
We will get to that in a few minutes here. We will. But even with that being the case, it feels like he's not helping himself because you mentioned just a 19% play action percentage. I remember when we were 5 or 6 weeks into the season, I remember seeing this number, and the Falcons were dead last in play action percentage. And I was like, what? Like, by a long shot, they were dead last. And I was like, what? Why are we doing this? When it came to motion rates, they were fine. I think they were around like the NFL standard, but play action, they were almost never running it. And when you take it even further than that, my co-host on the PFF NFL show, Dalton Wasserman, pointed this out. Again, I think this was around when we were 5-6 weeks into the season. He's like, Trevor, you realize that they're basically tipping their pitches. And I was like, what are you talking about on offense? And he's like, 80 to 85% of the time that they're under center, they run the football. 80 to 85% of the time they're in shotgun, they pass. And I was like, that's crazy high numbers. You can't be that predictable at what you're doing.
No.
And I don't know if they realized it even at the time that the plays that they liked in the passing game, they were installing from the shotgun. And a lot of the plays that they liked from the run game, they were installing from under center. But whatever it was, we picked up on it. I'm sure other teams picked up on it too. So now you're becoming really predictable with what's coming run versus pass. And you're not utilizing play action for any sort of deception even when you're doing one or the other. So that's why it's been a tough year for Zach Robinson, to be honest with you guys. And we'll talk a little bit more about Raheem Morris and what I think of him still being the head coach here. But to be honest, I think that what's most likely is that Raheem's going to get another shot next year, and he's going to get just a new offense coordinator because it has not worked with Robinson.
No, Arthur Blank is a patient man, and you have to wonder, does he just roll it back with Raheem one more year? Mm-hmm. Or is it because of the way the seasons have gone where it starts off promising and then just decays into madness? And then the issue is, and Penix is at the forefront of this, they are now in the odd in between, right? Where we did this with, a lot of GMs this year, but notably, who did we just go through the draft history on Monday? It was, Kwesi.
Yeah.
And Kwesi, Joe Shane, bunch of different guys this year. Terry Fontenot is unfortunately kind of trending towards that bucket of the draft's just, the player acquisition is just not good enough.
Yeah.
But are you going to only move on from Terry and then attach a different GM to Raheem? Do you move on from everyone? And then is a new regime trying to figure out what they do with an injured Michael Penix? There are so many warped timelines now that maybe all of that just leads to Arthur Blank being like, let me give all of these guys one more year. And like you said, Trevor, the button you can press when you do that is a new play caller for sure. I admittedly don't have a lean here. I could see a scenario where Raheem's gone. I could see a scenario where Raheem and Terry are gone. I could see a scenario where everyone's back and they just hire a new offensive coordinator. They are very tricky. And I want Falcons fans or anybody in the chat to kind of give their thoughts on what will happen or what they want to happen, because I'm curious. If I had to lean one way, Arthur Blank is not notorious for doing this, but it might be time to just kind of start the clean slate 1 year early rather than 1 year late.
I think that is a possibility. Let's talk about Terry Fontenot and let's dig into that, because I think that'll naturally get us into the conversation with him. It'll get us into the conversation with Raheem, and then we'll bring it back to Penix and sort of the game plan that you and I will have to fix this franchise moving forward. Before we do that, though, folks, if you don't subscribe to the show, what are you doing? We would love for you to be a part of the Addicts. We have a ton of fun around here. Hopefully you guys have noticed that already. If you have enjoyed any of the content that we have done on this show, it's a free, easy way to support what we're doing. The community's fantastic. We love going back and forth with you guys, whether it's these Fix Your Franchise series. We're going to have the player rankings for the upcoming NFL draft in a couple of weeks. We're getting that kicked off, all the mock drafts, everything. So we don't want you guys to miss it. We would love for you to be here for it. And if you're not subscribed, we would love for you to be. So we would really appreciate that. Terry Fontenot, let's look at the background that he has. Played safety at Tulane. Wanted to shout out the football roots that he has there. New Orleans Saints scout from 2003 to 2012. Then he was the New Orleans Saints director of pro scouting from 2013 to 2019. Then he was their assistant GM in 2020. Then he was hired as the Falcons general manager in 2021. He's got a 33-47 record as the Falcons general manager. He was also, interesting enough, hired after Arthur Smith during this process. So technically, he's only hired one head coach. This isn't, I think some people might look at it and be like, oh, what are we going to give him a third crack at head coach? Technically, he's only hired one head coach. So that does kind of go into the equation there. Connor, I think that the team building has been an issue, and we'll get to the draft history part of this in a second. But I think the root of the issues with why I say that their roster has always been one step behind instead of one step forward starts back in 2021 when they went after Deshaun Watson. That is where all of this goes wrong, in my opinion, because was Matt Ryan great his last 2 years in Atlanta? No. But you were in a situation where could have potentially, gotten another year out of him. You could have played it patient with quarterback for one more season, but they didn't do that. They went after Deshaun, despite him not playing at all the year before because of the 22 sexual assault allegations that he had against him. They went after him hard in the trade market. Obviously, they didn't end up getting him. He ends up going to the Cleveland Browns, but because all of that became so public in their pursuit of Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan was like, okay, screw you guys.
Right. Franchise legend.
You didn't want me here. I'm not going to play for you. So then all that entire relationship sours. Matt Ryan, I can't remember if he publicly demanded a trade, but for all intents and purposes, demanded out. So they had to trade him to the Colts, and because I think the Colts didn't have Carson Wentz at the time, so they go get Matt Ryan. So now they're sitting here with, what do? We struck out on Deshaun. We didn't get Deshaun. Now we don't even have our backup plan in Matt Ryan because they were kind of trying to have their cake and eat it too behind the scenes.
Right.
So then plan C was they signed Marcus Mariota and then they drafted Desmond Ridder. Mariota started most of the 2022 season, but then he eventually got benched at the end of the year, and they gave Desmond Ridder a look. Now, the problem is, and I see some people in the chat talking about this a little bit earlier, is they were like, oh, we gave up on Desmond Ridder way too early. Desmond Ridder was not the answer for you. But the problem is that you waited too long to start Desmond Ridder. You only gave him 4 games at the end of the year. Now, Arthur Smith was just trying to win as many games as possible. So he's just trying to play the best quarterback. And shocker, it was the veteran instead of the third-round rookie. But because you only gave Desmond Ridder 4 games, you had no choice but to say, well, we have too small of a sample size.
Right.
So now you have to go into next year with Desmond Ridder as your quarterback. They then entered the 2023 draft. No, this was the 2024 draft with a massive need at pass rusher and defensive line. But instead, they had to overcompensate the entire offseason at quarterback because they didn't have one. Desmond Ridder didn't work out for them. So then they had to go and spend they didn't have to. They spent a ton of money on Kirk Cousins, and then they drafted the number 8, Penix with the number 8 overall pick, completely ignored pass rusher because they had to make up for not having a quarterback. Then the next year, what we just saw this past draft, they have to totally overcompensate, drafting both Jalen Walker, trading up for James Pierce Jr., and then what happens? Now you have a cornerback need that you didn't touch entirely. So this whole team building process stems from the swing and miss that they had on Deshaun Watson. And ever since then, they have been one step behind on their roster needs. And they have not been able to get ahead. And ultimately, in my opinion, that falls on Terry Fontenot. It does. It has to.
It does. And the process with the offseason of both quarterbacks is maybe the most alarming of all, because it was not a scenario where they went out and got Kirk Cousins and then said, we want to develop a guy behind Cousins. I promise you that wasn't the scenario. The process was they fell in love with Penix after signing Cousins and promising Cousins that job for a couple of years and everything that came with it. And then they liked Penix so much, who was not a like, it wasn't like when Mahomes was drafted. When Mahomes was drafted, everybody knew Mahomes was going to sit that first year, at least. It wasn't even a thought that he would have to play. And Penix and Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels that year, one of the big positives for those 3 guys was, man, they played a lot of college football at 2 different places. All three of them. So now they pissed off Kirk Cousins. I mean, he was pissed off when they took Penix. You've created a bad environment right off the bat. You've sunk a ton of cap space into Kirk Cousins. It's just, that's wasted resources, and it's a poor process. Why did you not know your thoughts on Penix and the quarterback class before investing all that money into Kirk Cousins? That's a bad process, and that process is led by the general manager, and ultimately, I think it's what's going to kind of define his regime that failed.
I think so too. I will say that there has to be an Arthur Blank angle here too, because I don't know how much of a lot of these moves, especially at quarterback, were Arthur Blank fueled, because owners, when they meddle, they basically only meddle at quarterback. Typically, they let you build the rest of the roster, but Arthur Blank was absolutely involved in pursuing Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And therefore pissing off Matt Ryan, and therefore not having any sort of a quarterback. Arthur Blank, you have to believe, because of how much money they gave Kirk Cousins, was absolutely involved in going into that 2024 offseason and basically saying, I'm done with this. We swung and missed on Deshaun in 2021. It's 3 years later. We have no quarterback plan. We're going to spend the money. He tried to risk-proof the quarterback position. They dropped $150 million on Kirk Cousins, and then they dropped the number 8 overall pick on Michael Penix. They basically said,
something to work.
We're breaking the rules. You tell us that quarterback isn't something that you could throw money at and fix. BS. We're going to do it. We're going to put that to the test. And guess what? They did. It failed. It doesn't work like that. And so I think that has to go into the Terry Fontenot discussion here. But that's also not to completely let him off the hook, because the rest of the drafts, the rest of the free agent additions have, like I said, reflected a roster that's always one step behind. You know, let's pull up the draft history here from him, because I think that it's good to get a good feel of like what the draft history is here. 2025, you got Jalen Walker in the first round, you got James Pierce Jr. in the second round. They got Xavier Watts, and they got Billy Bowman. I think that's a great draft from the players that you got. Now, the problem is...
That's my grade, yes.
The problem is that if you look at the James Pierce Jr. trade, if you take the draft pick value from Draft Tech of where the Falcons are currently sitting, that is minus 1,000 draft points in the red for what they gave up to go get James Pierce Jr.
It's almost unfathomable.
And if you want to say, well, they thought they might be a playoff team this year, even if you move that draft pick from this year all the way back to like the early 20s, that's still about negative 400, negative 500 in the draft value chart. That is, I like James Pierce Jr. I liked him a lot. Now that he's on the team, good football player. I think he's going to help your roster. But from a strategy of how you operate as a GM, there's no other way to put it. Massive overpay. And why do you overpay, Connor? Because you're a step behind.
Right. You're a desperate man.
That's how you get to that point. And it's just not a healthy way to manage a team.
And that was why I gave this a B-, because I like the players. I really do. But at what cost? And Nick in the chat just said it. They gave up a first for Pierce, 2 picks after the Giants gave up a third to go get Dart.
Yep.
It's one thing you paid a hefty price to get a player you love. It's another thing when the price you paid doesn't align with the rate at all. So it's a little bit of like, yeah, they got good players here, but it's going to cost them in the future, especially a year where this pick could have been really, really valuable to them in a lot of different areas. And you're right. Like the desperation angle to Fontenot is now also another problem.
So somebody in the chat said, no, red's good. They're the Falcons. Their colors are red. Red's good. 1,000 in the red is good. Shout out Presser for that one. Also, shout out Bengal in the chat. We got Bengal in the chat.
There he is.
Bengal said, what was his first comment? Hold on. He said, Terry needs to find another top 10 pick to draft another skill position player.
Kenyon Sadiq, come on down.
Specifically, number 8 overall, Bengal. Because that's where they've picked the last 3 years in a row. Which is ironic, Connor, because that's kind of where they're headed again this year. But they don't have it.
They don't make the pick.
But they don't make the pick.
In honor of the Falcons, the Rams should walk up and have Roger Goodell walk to the podium and be like, the Rams said, in honor of this being originally the Falcons pick, the Los Angeles Rams select Kenyon Sadiq 8th overall.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, you could scroll through some of the draft history right now because actually, can you go back to that's the 2024 class. So the 2024 class, and I don't hate the last couple of classes that he's had. Like 2024, obviously Penix, if it doesn't work out, I mean, it makes
then that defines this class.
It defines the class. Yeah, that's the way that you say it. But like Rook's okay. Braylon Trice, unfortunately, has just been hurt in each of the last 2 years. Brandon Dorless, I think, is good value at round 4. He's somebody who I would have taken in the top 100. Jace McClellan's a decent backup running back. Zion Logue's an okay backup defensive lineman. You're getting some decent day 3 picks in there. I don't hate the last 2 drafts in a vacuum.
Definitely don't love them.
I hate the situation surrounding them.
Right.
Of how we got to the names on paper. But you start scrolling back and we get to 2021 specifically. There's a 2023 class. That's the Bijan year. The 2022 class is basically just, Drake London. And here's the 2021 class, right? This is tough to look at because we do a lot of these exercises, and general managers are typically not great with their first drafts. Unfortunately for Terry Fontenot, 2021 ruled. There were so many incredible football players that were taken in the 2021 NFL draft. And you got the worst of the bunch in Kyle Pitts. Richie Grant's not there anymore. Jalen Mayfield's not there anymore. Darren Hall's not. Drew Dahlman's on another team now. Played well for them. Good pick.
Right, and they let him go.
Not even there anymore. So you had what was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 player class that is a complete dud. Complete dud.
I mean, taking Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase. Come on now.
What was their... They still have Julio at the time? Let me see. Let me scroll back. Let me scroll back to the archives.
How old was Julio at the time?
Hold on. I'm looking at the month before this draft. They did have Julio. Oh, and they had Calvin Ridley. They would have never done it. I mean, was this the last year? Did Calvin Ridley have the gambling stuff immediately after this?
I think he did.
Because that's just an all-time bad beat. No pun intended.
There's just so many better options, man. Micah.
The 5th-year option.
By the way, this isn't hindsight either. I mean, I have 2021 rankings. I didn't agree with Pitts going here. And I don't think it's hindsight.
Oh, Julio got traded after the draft?
That makes it worse.
Julio was traded right after. I forgot that. And Calvin Ridley 1 year later got suspended for a year for gambling.
Which, okay, you can't see that coming, but it's just a bad. It's a bad. Oh
yeah,
pick.
And no, that was. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was the following year is when Ridley left the team for mental health reasons.
Yeah, he had a lot going on. So
he left the team mid-season with mental health reasons, and then he got suspended on March of 2022, the following offseason. That is so bad to not have Jamar Chase on your team then at that point. With Kyle Pitts, obviously, his story unfolding the way that it did. Damn.
Yeah, this was the beginning of the, oh boy.
It's tough, brother.
But, I mean, once again, he did not to just get hung up on the Kyle Pitts pick forever, like Richie Grant and Jalen Mayfield.
Yeah.
You can only miss on so many top 75 picks. And I'm not saying they need to be all pros, but just be on a roster for you.
Freddie said, I completely underestimated how much going through this would upset me.
We apologize.
All right, Connor. I was about to say, I think Terry Fontenot should go. I think they should move on from him.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But before we talk about GM candidates, do we think it's realistic? Because now we're in a situation where it's a little bit tricky. Very clearly, Arthur has worked with Terry Fontenot on multiple big signings and draft picks and everything. So I have to think that he likes him. It's not like he doesn't like him as general manager. Raheem Morris is in his second year, and as much as people don't like Raheem, I think it would be unfair to let him go after this year. I really do. I think that you kind of have to look at the struggles with offensive coordinator specifically and give him one more year with a different offensive coordinator. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I like hiring the GM and the coach on the same
together,
which
I do too.
Has me hung up here. I don't. Here's the problem, and I know the chat is kind of leaning this way as well. Like, I root for Raheem. There's nothing I can put my hat on right now and say, yeah, this looks good. It's going to get a lot better. There's a super chat. Let me find it because this is really important here. And it was a really good one from Ken. Ken, thank you for the $10 super chat. He said, what kind of offensive coordinator candidates are you going to be able to attract with a coach on the hot seat and no real answer at quarterback, feels like you need to hit a full reset of coaching the team at that point.
So
that's very fair from, it might be Kent. It's either Kent Hoder or Ken Thoder. I'm going to say you're Kent. Shout out to Kent.
I think I called him Ken earlier for that very reason, to play it safe.
Or he's Ken T. Hoder.
Or it's K and Thoder.
Yeah, that actually might be the one.
I'm really hoping that it's K and Thoder is the last name.
I think you're onto something.
Ken, please let us know what we need to call you.
I can't go on with the show until I have this figured out.
We want to be addressing you by your proper name. So I actually did have coordinator candidates that I wrote down for offense coordinator, believe it or not.
All right.
First one, familiar name, familiar face. Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll potentially is the offensive coordinator for this team. Now, I think it kind of gets ugly if he's the offensive coordinator.
He's
right?
Kent Hoder.
It's Kent?
Yeah, he said Kent Hoder, unfortunately.
Whoa.
But K and Thoder is elite. There's still time. You can change it.
There is still time. Brian Daboll obviously makes a lot of sense just because he's got the experience as an offensive play caller. You start getting real tricky, right? I mean, like if the Falcons season starts 1-3, the pitchforks are going to be out. People are going to want Raheem out. They're going to want, Brian Daboll to finish the year as head coach. Like you set up a pretty explosive situation.
This is the problem.
Right. And the other guys are unproven guys. The one that I think is sort of the Hail Mary is getting Ryan Grubbs back in the NFL. And the reason why is because Grubbs was Penix's offensive coordinator when he was at Washington.
He's the whisperer.
Now, right now, Grubbs is back at Alabama under DeBoer again because he was under DeBoer when they were all at Washington, obviously. Now he's the offensive coordinator in Alabama. He was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks last season, and it was very strange. Like him and Mike McDonald just
it didn't work.
Were like butting heads the whole
water and oil.
Water and oil for sure. Like gas and an open flame, honestly. That's how it felt. But
that's pretty. It just didn't work for Ryan Grubb at the NFL level. I think he's a very smart offensive coordinator, and he's kind of like a little bit in the Todd Monken bombs away, which I always liked.
Dude, Todd Monken for this team.
Oh
Good.
man, you and I love Todd Monken. I don't know why the NFL.
I don't know either.
Whatever. We won't go down that road today.
I don't know either. Colin said the Penix whisper. Easy.
Yeah. A little whisper and it rises up.
Hey, all right, easy. So what are we doing here? Obviously,
we gotta wipe it.
The chat's like a King's Landing crowd. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true.
The chat's a king. When we do Fix Your Franchises, we're Joffrey, and they're the King's Landing crowd at an execution. They came to see something, right? They got off work early. They're gathering around the square. They don't want to see this guy get pardoned. Chop his head off. Who cares if he's king in the North? Spoilers, sorry.
When Ned got the axe, how shocked were you on a television scale from 1 to 10? I didn't read the first book before I watched the show, so I didn't know anything.
So,
are you standing right there? You're like, they can't do this. Not in front of a child.
Alyssa actually filmed my reaction.
Oh man.
And I walk off the couch and I go to the kitchen and I just like put my hands on the counter and I'm just like staring there. Because I didn't start Game of Thrones until all of the seasons were released.
I remember this. You live tweeted it. It was great content.
And I was live tweeting it, and it was hilarious because I was, like making predictions on a show that already finished that everybody in the world had watched other than me. And I was just like, there's 8 more seasons after this? You killed them. You killed literally the main character. And there's 8 more seasons? What are we doing here?
Right. So, where do we go now?
And
boy, they kind of got there, but yeah. Anyways, back to the Falcons.
Some people are saying spoilers. Look, guys,
Yeah, if you haven't watched it by now.
Yeah, I think Game of Thrones ended like 7 years ago. You
that
should keep
makes me
watching it
feel
though,
old.
because like even knowing exactly what you know now, how we might have spoiled it for you, the show is the best show of all time. It's nuts.
I agree. Even with the
ending.
screwing up the ending, not for more spoilers, the seasons 1 through 6 is like all time.
Yeah, even with zombie Ned Stark coming back, and just,
right with the flamethrower strapped to his back. I can't believe that episode.
In the Back to the Future car.
He arrives at the wall. What's up, boys?
The tires are smoking. There's fire coming from the skid marks.
Just mowing down White Walkers.
This is the dumbest podcast of all time.
It really is stupid.
Okay, fine. Let's clean house. Let's GM candidates. Basically, it's the same ones that we mentioned on Monday. Ian Cunningham, Ed Dodds, Ryan Cowden, Ray Agnew. You guys see those guys on the screen, sort of where they're at. Alec Hallaby, who's the assistant GM for the Eagles. Cunningham, he's the assistant GM for the Bears. Cowden, who I really like a lot, VP of personnel for the Patriots. He's Vrabel's kind of guy that Vrabel wanted him as general manager with the Titans before they promoted Rand Carthen, and now he's with the Patriots because he had him come over. But what do you think? You would pick Dodds for the Vikings,
right?
On Monday. You got any leaning with any of these guys here?
Yeah, I'd go Hallaby for this job because I think they need somebody that can restock the assets analytically, is my take. I think Hallaby would be able to get them up to speed in valuing and acquiring capital the right way, utilizing cap space as a weapon, kind of the way Philadelphia does with the compensatory picks, and just give them a totally different approach. Like you just hired last time the traditional area scout, pathway. Now you're going to go a totally different direction. Now, Hallaby is a bold hire because he's more of an outside the box kind of, lead up throughout his career. But
yeah,
I this is the team that I would go that direction for.
Yeah, Hallaby has kind of been the right-hand man, as Jordan Rodriguez wrote with these candidates to Howie Roseman. And Howie's obviously very hands-on, right? I mean, it's not like Howie's like not doing it himself, but he's been a big part of the Eagles organization. A lot of people were asking for Ian Cunningham as well on Monday. Cunningham he was a finalist for the Jags GM job last opening, interview with Titans as well. So I think I would consider him. I like Cowden, but if you like Hallaby...
No, I mean, I think I picked last one, so if you want to take Cowden this time. My whole Cowden take is, and I could be dead wrong, I think he's just with Vrabel till the very end.
Maybe.
I think those guys lost a lot of trust in people with how things ended in Tennessee, and now that they are entrenched in a place where they feel comfortable with the trust factor, they'll just stay there as long as they can.
Okay.
But once again, that's my opinion. I don't mind for this exercise us hiring Cowden.
He's been on a bunch of GM interviews over the last handful of seasons.
I feel like a lot of these guys have.
Yeah.
Hallaby was pretty deep in the Jets last year. Dodds has been a finalist in multiple jobs.
Multiple years. Let's go with Hallaby.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go Hallaby here for general manager for the Falcons.
Get the spreadsheets out.
Get the spreadsheets out. Head coach options for this team. I didn't write any down because I didn't know if we were getting rid of Raheem.
The chat kind of, like you said, King's Landing crowded us.
Yeah.
They're all screaming and throwing stuff.
Chris Shula's the obvious. Clint Kubiak is another. I don't think Mike McDaniel's getting fired at this point in Miami. I think he's getting another year.
It really feels that way. He's dug himself out of the hole.
Yeah. Kingsbury. I think I'd go Kubiak. Have we done Kubiak for another team yet? I know we've talked about him a bunch.
Oddly enough, I don't think so.
I don't think we have. Let's go Clint Kubiak. Let's go Clint Kubiak here for their head coach. Kubiak would certainly use more play action.
There you go.
He absolutely would. Somebody saying Monken. I'd love Todd Monken to be the head coach of this team. I don't think he's going to get it.
No, I don't
and
think
I think
so
that
either.
Arthur Blank's going to want like a hot shot. Kenny said bring Mayock out of retirement for general manager. Shout out Mike Mayock, truly.
Yep. Legend of the industry.
Okay, we're going with Hallaby as general manager. We're going with Clint Kubiak as head coach because I think that's the direction that Arthur Blank's going to go. And then we'll dig into the rest of the roster here in a second. Before we do that, to all the people with kids out there, parenting. So all sorts of high-pressure decisions, right? It'd be difficult to tell if we made the right choice for our kids' future, especially financially. Well, here's a little thing that you can do right now that could help your kids get a great financial head start. That's opening up a UGMA Kids Investment Account for Fabric to start their investment journey. Give them a financial head start. Fabric by Gerber Life. It was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kids investment account, you guys can invest in your child's future today and start investing right now. Could start with $1 a day. That's how it starts here. Manage your child's account. Monitor those investments right from your phone. There's no contribution limits on it. It's got multiple tax advantages. It's all SIPC insured with the $500,000, plus there's no commission fees to it, just a low flat monthly maintenance fee. Funds can be used for nearly anything. When they're younger, maybe you're helping them with tuition, books, summer camps, after-school activities, things like that. And then when they're young adults, you're helping them buy their first car, first house, start a business, whatever it is, you can help them out. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your child today at meetfabric.com/stock-exchange. That is meetfabric.com/stock-exchange, MEET fabric.com/stock-exchange. The portfolios are managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Clearing Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. You can learn more at meetfabric.com. All right. Before we get into the roster, you want to read off a couple of super chats here, middle of the show?
Hell yeah, I do.
We got a big one here that I want to start with. Our guy Bengal, who we've had Bengal here on this channel. We've been on Bengal's channel before. He and Connor obviously have a never-ending rivalry, but we do love him and we appreciate this. He gave us a $50 super chat, said, "Keep up the great work, guys.
Good lad.
Your genuine passion and insight is not only an inspiration, but it brightens my day and constantly brings a smile to my face. Proud of your energy and your efforts. Bengal, you are the man." I think that it would be very strange if you subscribe to this show and you guys don't know who Bengal is, because the man's got over 500,000 YouTube subscribers for a reason. He does excellent job producing some excellent content as well. So if you follow this channel, make sure you guys are following Bengal's channel too.
601,000 subscribers for Bengal right now.
Whew!
That is a true YouTube legend.
Man's on his way to 1 million. Man's on his way to 1 million.
He really is. You think Dan Moore and Peter got some freaking change to throw around. This guy is...
It's true.
He's a kingpin.
They call him Moneybags Bengal.
That's literally his name. All right. Josh Rebar.
Bags?
M. Bags. Just like Kent.
Yeah.
Or Ken and Thotter.
And Thotter.
Oh, man. Progressive Borat be like my partner. Thank you, Josh.
From the beginning of the show.
That's really good. Oh, I like it.
I love that. Number 17, Prime 71. Wait, is it 17 or 71? Which one? Anyways, when are the Steelers getting pimped? Please tell me that they are getting pimped. How deep do the issues go? They run deep.
You know what's a hot topic picking up on you love New York sports radio now, ever since I introduced it to you.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Mike Tomlin to the Giants.
Yeah.
We don't have to even address it. I'm just laying it out. It's like the callers and everyone loves it.
Yeah. Everybody just loves the change like that.
Gaming time. Thank you for the $2 super chat to own me. Reminder for Connor that Kako played against men. He's referencing that when people thought Kako could be a better prospect than Jack Hughes, it was because he played overseas against men. And yeah, it didn't work out. But Jack Hughes, Kako's no longer on the Rangers, but what are you going to do? Life of a Ranger fan.
What are you going to do? Ethan, $2 super chat said, as a Panthers fan, I request not fixing the Falcons. Well, look, you think I enjoy this? You think?
Right.
You think I like doing this?
Somebody's got to.
Somebody's got to do it. It's going to be us, damn it.
McFarland, thank you for the super chat. Shout out my boy Steven watching on his TV.
Wait,
Shout out Steven.
Wait, hold on. So McFarland is watching the show on Steven's TV, or is he saying that Steven's watching on his own TV?
No, I think McFarland forgot a comma and meant that he's watching on his boy Steven's TV.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Shout out to the boys.
$2 from T-Law said, bigger issue is Rich McKay in Blank's ear, not Terry. You know, again, when we start talking about ownership issues, I don't know. We don't know. Those are incredibly difficult to analyze because a lot of the meetings that the owners have are like closed door stuff. So,
thank you for the super chat. Odd Estime. Put this on the living room TV. Roommate's girlfriend asked, who are the dorks on TV? Never kicking her out of the house until now. Yeah, she's got to go.
Nah, she'll learn. She'll learn.
She doesn't have to go home, but she cannot stay there.
Just do her a favor. Next time you have her phone, go to youtube.com/@NFL Stock Exchange, subscribe to the show, and she'll make sure, she'll get it next time that you turn it on. J Berg's $5. What's you guys' take on Gabe Akis? Almost went with the soft J.
It's like a sneeze. Akis.
Top 50 pick. Led the Big Ten in sacks. Doesn't mean everything, but he had a productive year for sure. Drake May. No, I think Akis is solid, man. It's very strange. Illinois continues to use him as a stand-up rusher, despite the fact that he's like 6'6" and 280 pounds. So I think he'll play in a little bit of a different spot in the NFL. But I don't know about top 50 pick, but I think that he's solidly a day 2 pick, in my opinion.
I'm with you all the way. I've watched a lot of Akis this year. It's weird because he was so good as a freshman, then he had a slump year, and now he's been back on the rise. So, and we'll land right on day 2. Zoinks! Thank you for the $5 super chat. Don't forget about Gators legend and current Falcon Felipe Franks. He walked so DJ Lagway could run.
Hey, he is in this show. He's in this show. You'll know it when you see it. Moonbeam Man, $5 super chat. We need to have a real talk about Penix being the future when he's healthy. As a Falcons fan, a guy like Desmond Ridder would be a great signing.
That's a Saints undercover cop if I've ever seen one. Ritter's not even in the league.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
He's not. I looked before the show because I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with Penix is we're on ACL tear number 3 now, unfortunately. 2 to his right knee and 1 to his left. And that's now getting really, really difficult to say, hey, yeah, we feel really good about this guy in the future. And we'll get to the roster part of this in a second.
Micah Kite, does Staley scare you for Shula?
Staley?
Is he talking about Brandon
Staley?
Like, does the Staley experience scare me off of hiring Shula, I guess?
Oh.
I'm guessing.
No.
Absolutely not. Man, the Staley era was weird, wasn't it? Remember he made that video where he was like, I want all the smoke?
Yeah, it was... It didn't go great.
Is he got what you wanted?
Is he the DC with the Saints still?
Yes, right? Which was one of those like moments this year for me where I was like, oh, that's where he is?
Yeah. Hey, getting a paycheck. Love it for
a lot of money.
Cole, $10 super chat. Choose your fighter for lighting resources on fire. Fontenot versus Quessy. Love the pod, Munchkins. Oh, Munchkins. God.
That's like...
appreciate y'all.
All right, dude.
I think Quessy is... Oh, man. See, I was going to say Quessy because I think his draft history has been worse. However...
I think it's Quessy.
Yeah, but like even just the James Pierce Jr. alone trade, the cumulative draft value lost in that trade.
He got his ass on that one.
Terry's probably more in the red. I don't know, man. It's not great. It's not
both are... Like when you wake up,
you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there.
When you start your day at the casino hotel and you walk through the lobby because you have to go do something at 7 a.m. and the guys at the table have not gone to bed yet. Both of them are in that kind of red right now.
The shirts are buttoned a little too far. The gold chain and the chest hair sticking out.
Yeah. Screw it. I'll smoke a Marlboro Red.
Yeah. You look over. The guy takes off his watch and puts it on the table in the middle of the table. Yeah, that's when you know. That's when you know you've been there too long.
Yeah, that's when you know. Nation Station Gaming. Mm-hmm. Trevor, wear my hat like Brian Flores Sikkema. You do got the B-Flow hat style.
What does that mean?
It's just like
Is it low?
No, it's like just the right amount of curved brim, but not overly curved, but you still got a little bit of a mid-profile.
Yeah.
But I think Flores wears a hat because he doesn't have hair. You have good hair.
Thanks, appreciate it. Nation,
So,
I
you
feel
have
like
great
that's a little.
hair.
Nation, I feel like that was a little disrespectful, and for that, I'm gonna blacklist you from getting an NFLSE hat.
did-
I'm
he
just
did-
kidding.
he
I'm
did put a
just
heart.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Malachi Shaw, thank you for the $2 super chat. Whodat94, thank you for the $2 super chat. And McFarland again, thank you for the $5 super chat. If Ra stays, the OC will be the quarterback coach.
Their quarterback coach? Who's their quarterback coach?
I'll tell you right now.
All right, and then I'll read this one. This is the last super chat before we get into the roster here. Broshmo, $10. Another great friend of the show. I've been on Broshmo's channel a couple of times. I've done a couple of mock drafts with him. It's always a great time. Again, if you guys are following this channel, you should be following Broshmo's channel as well, covering the NFL draft. I know he's a Dolphins fan. He says, don't let these stubs fool anyone. The Dolphins need to fix their franchise. So the Dolphins fix your franchise could still be coming, Broshmo. It could be, but make sure you guys go check out their channel as well.
The quarterback coach is DJ Williams, former quarterback.
If you said DJ Lagway, I was gonna walk off the set.
No.
I was gonna walk off.
He was a quarterback for Grambling State from 2011 to 2014, and then he's been on NFL staffs for a long time now, Saints before the Falcons.
All right.
So DJ Williams maybe going to get his shot.
Wow. Hold on. One more. Colossal $5.
He's got a nice gold chain in his headshot.
In his headshot?
Yeah, he's got like number one. The guy still does shrugs, which I love that.
All right. What's his name?
Coach. DJ Williams. He's the Falcons quarterbacks coach. Still does shrugs, and he's got a sick gold chain. Maybe they do keep Raheem and hire him.
Brother, hold on. Wait a second. What are we talking about this guy coaching for? Put on the pads.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yep, we're running Wishbone. DJ Williams, you're out there.
Put on the pads. Colossal $5 super chat. This is the last one. Love the show, guys. Much love from Sarasota, Florida. Hey, Sarasota, Florida. Bay Area, stand up.
Nice.
Let's go. All right. Taking a look at the roster now. Projected starting lineup. I have quarterback in question marks, and I have Penix, maybe, but I think it's
Is he even ready to start the year?
That's the thing, is it's a partial ACL tear, but he still had to have surgery, and it's still going to be a good amount of time before he's able to ramp up and really play. I feel like he could be ready to start the season next year, but you basically go into next season the same way that we talked about Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. You have to have something else. You have to have a legitimate option outside of him to at the very least start the season. And it's not going to be Kirk Cousins, and we'll tell you why here in a second. Bijan's obviously the starting running back. You got Drake London at wide receiver. The rest of the tight ends and wide receivers, Darnell Mooney's a free agent. Wait, is he? No, I don't think he is.
I think he is.
No. He's not, but he's an easy He's
guaranteed to be cut.
He's an easy cut for this team. Kyle Pitts is a free agent. Shoot, Tyler Allgeier's even a free agent for this team. They got moves they got to make this team better. Jake Matthews and Caleb McGarry, in theory, you're starting offensive tackles. Matthew Bergeron and Chris Lindstrom, in theory, you're starting guards. They have Ryan Newsiel at center, but they could upgrade there. So potentially Newsiel, but it might be an upgrade at center.
I hate to stop you, but the chat is having a meltdown. The person that said the quarterback coach meant TJ Yates, who's the pass game coordinator, would be elevated to OC.
I say just put both of them in the octagon.
Right. Let them figure it out.
Right. If you can't physically overpower the other man, you don't deserve to be the offensive coordinator.
No, you don't even wear a headset anymore.
No. TJ Yates. All right, TJ Yates.
McFarland literally said, "I'm Walt in the car." No,
screaming.
Hank, no. Oh man, another jaw dropping of television
shout out
moments.
Shout out DJ Williams though, getting some pub on the show, getting some pub.
Good
here. We got over 900 people watching the show live. We love y'all. You guys are animals. You're addicts even. And now they all know who DJ Williams is.
They'll never forget.
Projected starting lineup on defense. We got Rook Orororo, Brandon Dorless. Zach Harrison could be the other defensive lineman because if you're keeping Raheem, you're still running a 3-4. If not, it could totally change. But you, in theory, have the pieces for a younger defensive line when those guys could still be there. Are they difference makers? Not necessarily. Is that why the Falcons aren't great at run defense? Yes. I think that also goes into the linebacker level when you have Jalen Walker, who's sort of like a hybrid on-ball, off-ball linebacker, and then Divine Diablo has been hurt throughout this year. But
yeah, that's on Ulbrich too. This is how he likes his fronts to look. And the beauty of it is when you're winning, they get home and close games. The problem is now this is the second year in a row of an Ulbrich run unit being, getting run over at times by the run game.
You have James Pierce Jr. at one of the edge spots. I'd love for Braylon Trice to be the second edge spot, but he's now, I think, missed. Is it the entire year, both years in a row? I think he has.
I feel like I have not seen him on the field at all besides summer.
In training camp and the preseason in each of the last 2 seasons.
That's correct.
Which is...
That's a shame.
You can't depend on a guy, unfortunately, going into next year. So
it's the same knee both years, too.
I wonder if they just moved Jalen Walker to edge.
Yeah, because they already give him some looks there, so
right, and they
just kind of lean in.
They try to draft a linebacker. AJ Terrell's at corner, but then other than that, they don't have another outside corner. Billy Bowman potentially could play in the slot for them if you feel good enough about it, because I think that he has some ability to do it if you're comfortable. And then Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates, that's going to be one of the best safety duos in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. Sam said Braylon Trice, real name, no gimmicks. Please tell me you know what lyrics come next, Connor.
No.
2 trailer park girls go around the outside.
Oh my God, I should have gotten that. That's a disgrace.
But it's an incredible reference. That's a
10 out of 10.
Yeah, unbelievable. Mon said that Billy's out with an Achilles tear, so he tore his Achilles, so he'll miss time going into next year. So I guess they will need somebody else who's in the slot. I still really like Billy Bowman a lot.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that he's had some really high highs this year, and he's had some lows where he's gotten beat, but he's got ball skills, and that's been kind of a mission for this team as well they have a lot of guys that can take away the football.
Yeah. Garrett in the chat, Football Analysis, said Braylon Trice's 16 pressure game in 2023 with Washington was absolutely electric. It was. I will point out that the reason why I wasn't the highest on Braylon Trice is because they very much put him in a wide alignment and they just let him run straight towards the quarterback without having to bend much. So unless he was going to an odd front 3-4 team, he was not going to have that same kind of success or anything close to it. However, he did go to a 3-4 team, so I actually like this landing spot. We just have not gotten to see him, unfortunately. Team needs. I have quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, defensive tackle, and corner. Those are the 5 needs that I have for the Falcons.
Yeah, this makes sense. Makes sense to me all the way.
All right. Cap space. I don't expect this team to be super active in free agency, so this part will be somewhat quick. They have
God, what a jump scare.
Tyler.
Good Lord, Cook. Oh man!
For those of you who are audio-only listeners on the show, our chef and producer put as the picture for this slide Kirk Cousins wearing all gold teeth. They have negative $10 million in effective cap space right now, which is the 23rd most in the NFL. They have 39 players under contract for 2026 as it currently stands. However, this is very easily remedied. If they post June 1 Kirk Cousins, so you're just paying him more money, but you get more of cap saving from him, you save $35 million on the cap. Boom. All of a sudden, now you're cap compliant and have plenty more in the tank. If you cut Darnell Mooney, who doesn't have any guaranteed money left on his contract, you save $7.4 million if you pre-June 1 cut him, $11 million if it's a post-June 1 cut. And remember, guys, you get 2 post-June 1 designations, so you could do that for both of these guys, and that saves about $42 million. That's without any sort of restructures or any other moves that could gain you some cap space. So they should have a decent amount to be able to do some things in free agency, but I just don't think they're going to be very loud about it. I mean, are there any free agents?
Well, think about the hire we just made. Halby, I think, would get there and try to kind of give them a clean slate where I'm not looking to open up all this cap space. I'm going to try to play the comp pick formula a little bit, and we don't have enough draft assets this year. So I really just need like a baseline start over. So no, I don't think they'd be spending money in free agency with a new regime.
Somebody in the chat was also mentioning Caden Ellis. So Caden Ellis is a pending free agent for this team. Now he could be back to play at linebacker for them, so I should have mentioned that. David Onyemata is also a free agent. So is Leonard Floyd. Maybe they bring back Leonard Floyd because you don't have Braylon Trice.
Right, like a mercenary edge player.
Tyler Algier is up for free agency. I don't think you bring him back.
No, I think he'll get a chance to start somewhere.
I agree. I think that Texans, I think the Texans are interested in him.
There's 7 places where you go, well, Tyler Algier could be the starter at that place next year.
Kyle Pitts, who I don't think they're going to bring back. I don't think they're bringing back Arnold Ebiketie. So,
no.
Caden Ellis, maybe you're bringing back on this team. But, all right. Let's see if there's any free agents that make sense for this team. Because I guess I didn't realize that it's going to be that much money that they're going to be able to have in free agency to do something with. Tyler Linderbaum's the ultimate one that we talk about at center, but I just don't think he's going to leave the Ravens. They're going to figure it out there with him. Wide receiver, I could see them adding a wide receiver in free agency.
Yeah, especially if Penix is on track, on a good timeline where you're trying to evaluate him in that year fairly before you decide what you're going to do as a new regime.
George Pickens, I don't think gets out of Dallas.
I mean, they're gonna need a tight end.
Romeo Doubs? Ooh, Jalen Naylor, I don't hate either.
That's a good fit.
I like Jalen Naylor.
Bigger role in Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't hate that. So I could be down for Jalen Naylor. And who else is wide receiver for them?
Wait, why? The Ravens just gave Mark Andrews a big extension.
Literally just did this?
Literally 8 minutes ago is the tweet.
Interesting timing.
Yeah, because I was looking at tight ends.
Why would they do that?
Dude, a 3-year, $39.3 million extension, 26 of it's guaranteed. Okay. Well, that's one tight end off the board in this exercise. Literally just happened.
All right, not getting that. I'm a Tylan Wallace guy.
Interesting.
So
try to get a depth ad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, Jalen Naylor and Tylan Wallace is 2 new wide receivers that you get there. I like that. And then at tight end, okay, we got David Njoku. I don't hate that. That's a splash ad.
Hey, here's an interesting one for you.
All right.
Is this a team that now goes after Isaiah Likely?
Ooh.
Oh, nice. TV in the chat. I didn't even see that, but there you go.
Yeah, because he is a free agent, right?
And if the Ravens just paid Andrews all that money.
Yeah. I like this move. All right, let's do it. So, all right, then the last one is a corner. Let's get some sort of cornerback before we go into the draft.
Right.
I mean, take a chance on Eric Stokes. He's played better this year, I think, from what I saw.
Let's see what the market looks like.
He won't cost you a ton of money.
Clearly, I should peek at the chat, too. They've been coming up with the same ideas as us. Corner.
Does Connor read the chat?
I was going to say, I do, but I do not read it when Trevor and I are perusing over the cap.
Felipe Franks, low moving cost. Yeah, correct. Doesn't have to move at all.
Man. Yeah, you'd be looking at the... Hey, you know who I feel like has played better this year? Although maybe he doesn't fit them depending when Billy Bowman is back. I feel like Cordell Flott has been better this year.
He has. I think that's
right?
I think that's a decent call out.
Yeah, he's definitely at his best year in coverage.
Monteric Brown.
Oh yeah, and Flott's played outside most of the year.
Jalen Watson or Josh Williams from the Chiefs, I think, are decent options here.
For sure.
Let's pick one of these guys that we like.
Free agency corner group's actually viable.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this. It's probably weird. And we didn't spend a lot at tight end and wide receiver, so you could make a splash here. Are the Jags for sure going to bring back Monteric Brown? let's see. They have Jordan Lewis. Monteric Brown's one of their outside starters. They traded for Greg Newsome. They have Jerry Jones.
Travis Hunter.
They have Travis Hunter. I feel like you can get Monteric Brown.
I would think he walks. Another guy that plays on the outside.
Yeah.
I'd go with Monteric Brown. He's a guy we haven't talked about on any of these shows yet.
His best year is this year in coverage, for sure.
Yeah, good time to be a free agent for him.
Decent the year before as well. Pretty good tackler. Let's go with him. Let's get him as an outside corner so we feel good about it. Okay, so not a lively free agent class, but different free agent class.
Some good value signings.
Yeah, we're going with Jalen Naylor, Tylan Wallace, Isaiah Likely, and then Monteric Brown. Those are the four guys that we're sort of like centering around to sort of like build around what is a young group of players as we get into the draft, which we'll fire up right now. Okay. No first round pick, obviously. Sorry, people. Second round pick, third round pick, though. So that's obviously how we're going to do the exercise here. Whoa, trees, background.
It's a good background.
It is a good background. Round 4, round 6, round 7. So, yeah, we unfortunately, Tyler, don't have anything in the first round. So there you go. Yeah, there's the Falcons. 3 rounds. Let's do it. Let's see what the game plan is like. And they're all gone. Okay, pick number 41 in the second round is where we begin here. All right. So, I think that this pick, if we're going to do 2 mock drafts, because we've been doing 2 mock drafts here for every team, right. We've done this fixture franchise exercise. We're going to have the opportunity to pick, I think, corners and wide receivers as a sweet spot here at 41. Or linebacker, I think, as well.
Yeah, C.J. Allen sitting right there.
C.J. Allen would allow you to play Jalen Walker at edge.
We've gotten to see it.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have. We have another Georgia linebacker. So we could go that strategy. Is there anything jumping off the screen at you for corner, for wide receiver, for any of these guys? Maybe edge rusher instead, because you could have flexibility, right? If we like an edge rusher, then we can play Jalen Walker more as an off-ball linebacker.
So I think C.J. Allen is the best player we could take here. I think there's a conversation to be had about Jeremy Bernard with the style of receiver.
Jeremy, damn it. Sorry, hold on, folks.
Chaos.
Had to fix my camera here. Classic Trev. Jeremy Bernard would give us Drake London, Jeremy Bernard, Jalen Naylor, Tylan Wallace, Isaiah Likely, and then Bijan
work with that
in that mix as well. I think you can work with that. Let's take him. Let's see what it looks like here with Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver from Alabama. I feel like we don't always do as good enough of a job sort of talking through these prospects. Jeremy Bernard, really good year this past season. Not the best athlete in the world, but somebody who, I'm not saying that he's going to be exactly like Chris Godwin, but he feels like that type of a player, just so reliable and over the middle of the field player, a backside dig guy, somebody who can win at the sideline as well. He'll give you some yards after catch, but just a tough as nails, reliable type of receiver. So, yeah.
Good job. Very well done, Trevor. I'm guilty of just kind of glossing over it because we talk about these guys so often.
Yeah. All right.
And we know some people are just here as Falcons fans.
Yeah. So what are we thinking here in the third round?
Probably looking to help the defense again.
Linebacker or corner? Maybe like Whit Weeks?
Yeah, what's Whit going to do now that his future father-in-law is his coach?
I'd be getting the hell out of there.
Yeah, I would be packing my bags. Yeah, I'll go play pro ball.
Jake Galday is a very interesting choice here because he sort of gives you the same flexibility that Jalen Walker does, but Galday is more of that off-ball linebacker. He plays more as a true off-ball linebacker. Really good run defense grades, good coverage grades this season.
add size to the middle of your defense, which is needed. I like that. That's a really good lean.
I think I'd be okay with either of those guys. Because Torian York's not here, is he? Can you scroll up to see if Torian York from... Nah, he got picked. He got picked. Oh, he got picked 5 picks before. Would have loved him. He would have been great in the middle of that defense. All right, what are you thinking?
I think Gaulday is kind of the right fit.
Okay, all right. We take Gaulday here. So the first mock draft that we have, we're still rolling with Penix next year. I guess we didn't sign a veteran quarterback when we were going through free agency. So you have to sign some sort of a veteran in free agency. What veteran quarterbacks are actually available?
It's thinner than you'd think because all these backups this year signed 2-year deals.
Yeah. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, obviously, if you can get him back, but you probably can't.
No, that was a bad ending there.
Yeah.
Bad ending.
Tyrod Taylor, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I was going to say Tyrod and Jimmy kind of fit that. Tyrod actually is probably perfect.
Tyrod does work out pretty well for them, so I don't hate that. Trey Lance.
At least Tyrod gives you a floor.
Teddy Bridgewater, if he wants a chance to start for a little bit. You know? So one of those guys. So I'm okay with the veteran quarterback market. Okay. I really am. And then, like you said, like we get hit of a harder reset if we want to next year when we actually have a first-round pick. So this first draft, we ended up going with wide receiver and linebacker. So in this situation, Monteric Brown is playing on the outside with A.J. Terrell. You're hoping that Billy Bowman can be a slot defender for you when he gets back. You got Gaulday, you got Divine Diablo in the middle, which is a good amount of speed, which I like that athleticism there. You got James Pierce Jr. and you got Jalen Walker playing on the edges, and then you got a rotation of interior defensive line guys to feel decent about, and then a pretty good wide receiver room that's changed from what we did in free agency too. So, okay, so I like that. Let's do another mock. Let's see what we got at 41 this time. Could go Allen's still on the board again. Chris Bell is on the board. Akis is
maybe
here.
A smidge early for Akis.
I think it is. Yeah.
CJ Allen's a really good football player, man.
I think him and Anthony Hill are pretty good. I do like those guys.
They beef up your run defense.
They really do. I think that probably makes the most sense unless you're going like quarterback in round 2.
I know. I'm kind of like wonder, do we go CJ Allen and then take a quarterback in round 3?
Oh.
Would we not get Nussmeier in round 3?
Oh, man. Concepcion went at the top of the second round.
That would have been nice.
Awesome for them.
Yeah, I know the chat really liked that idea too.
Romello Height also went 4-5 picks earlier. Man, Romello Height and James Pierce Jr. That's kind of cut from the same cloth, but those dudes would be tough to stop. All right, so you want to go CJ Allen? You want to go the linebacker here?
Yeah.
Before we hit draft, the only reservation that I have here with this is like, I know this is funny coming from the guy that when we did the mock draft before, I took Sonny Styles to the Rams at number 10 overall. But like when you don't have a lot of premium picks and the first one that you make is an off-ball linebacker, you just got to make sure you're getting the right guy, right? Like you have to make sure that this player is going to be worth it for you, because if you're just doing the regular draft sort of coin flip in the air, he's going to hit or he's not, you'd rather do that at a more premium position. Are you worried about that at all with taking Allen here?
Just because the way the board fell, no. There's not a player that I love at a premium spot here, unfortunately.
Wait a second. Jagger's saying take Maava. My sources are saying he's coming out. Hold on. Wait a second.
This guy.
What's going on over here?
This guy, Jagger, with the golf pick. Yeah, he's in the know.
All right, so you want CJ Allen?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's take CJ Allen here. Lenoris ain't going to be there.
I don't think Lenoris will be in the draft.
I agree. That's why I don't really want to take him there. Dalen Everett's interesting. Oh, Skylar Bell.
Skylar Bell. Skylar Bell. Get a little bit of a technician.
Yeah. We're kind of running back the same draft. It's just
I know we flipped it. We flipped it. But that's some people are really going to like CJ Allen. Some people are really going to like Skylar Bell over Jeremy Bernard. Like it's...
Can I see edge rusher really quick, Tyler?
Probably got real thin at this point.
Oh, man. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. played really well against Michigan.
He did. He's going to go earlier than that.
Not
earlier than 73, yes. Earlier than the rank. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, but man. The heartbreaker. Clev Lubin.
Clev.
Why did we call him that again?
No idea.
I'm almost positive we called him the heartbreaker.
Probably. We got so many bits on this show.
I just see a name. George Gums out there. Oh, man.
That's your boy.
That is my boy. Gumby.
So the reason why I wanted to see edge rusher is because with taking CJ Allen, would we go edge rusher again? And now all of a sudden you're in a spot where, because Devon Diablo is entering the last year of his deal, you could move on from him if you wanted to because he's been hurt this year. You could have Jalen Walker and CJ Allen as your linebackers, and then James Pierce Jr. and an edge rusher of your choice.
Right.
Kenyatta Jackson, whatever, as the outside edge. The thing that would worry me about that is Allen and Walker are much better run defenders than they are coverage backers. So I would be worried about the coverage.
Like not having balance.
Yeah.
I would still take Skylar Bell here, but...
Jay-Sean Ref Headbutter Barnum.
He was definitely trying to show him what was happening.
Yeah.
And then it got memed to oblivion that he was headbutting a ref.
Yeah. I agree with you. I do think that that's probably what happened. Skylar Bell?
Skylar Bell.
All right, Skylar Bell it is.
Because look, they have a better edge depth than in fourth round.
We talked through it. All right, there we go. We got the two drafts here for.
We pimped the Atlanta Falcons.
We have pimped the Atlanta Falcons. We got the two drafts that you guys can choose from. We're either getting Jeremy Bernard and Jake Galday, or CJ Allen or Skylar Bell. You can put on top of that getting a veteran quarterback, some sort of a veteran quarterback, as well as Jalen Naylor, Tylan Wallace, Isaiah Likely, and who else is the other one? Monteric Brown that we got in free agency. We got Clint Kubiak as the new head coach. We have Alex Hallaby as the new general manager. And it's a clean slate there for the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see what Penix has to offer next season. But if not, man, we'll have a first-round pick the next year. And the 2027 quarterback class looks a lot better. We'll stick around and we'll read some of these super chats, but we'll do that in the after show portion of this. If you guys want to follow the show on all our social medias, at NFLSC Show on TikTok, on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. That's how you can follow us. Hey, really quick, I know that some of you guys have already started to do this. Shout out to you guys for listening to the podcast so much that it's in your top 5 of
awesome
your Spotify wrap.
Yep.
We're so humbled and we love seeing stuff like that. I'll try to retweet as many as I can from the NFLSC account and from the Instagram and everything. So if you tag us, we would love to share it just because we love sharing that stuff with the addicts. But shout out to everybody who listened to this show this year. We truly appreciate you guys. We say this every single show, but it's the community aspect of it that makes this so much fun, that gives us so much energy to do this show, that makes it so much fun for us to prepare for and get to talk with you guys about. So we really appreciate it. Like I said, we will read some of the super chats here in the after show that we'll do here in a second before we sign off. But Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
I echo that. It's an awesome day when Spotify Wrapped comes out because the mentions are just people saying, I can't, I listen to you guys or watch you guys for all of this. You're in my top 5. And it's really cool, man. It means a lot to us. That's super special to be mentioned in any of those. So thank you to all the addicts out there. It's hilarious seeing I'm addicted to sex in my mentions. 40 different times.
You were supposed to save that part for the after show, Connor.
Yeah, whoops. Not me. Don't clip me out, internet. All right, I'm done.
Appreciate it. Love you guys. Stick around to hear us read the rest of the super chats that we had on the show. But if you're not going to do that, for Tyler Cook, our chef producing the show, for Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much for watching the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We'll see you guys next week.